The battle in Albany over mixed martial arts, or MMA, which has lasted nearly 2 decades, continues amid controversy. Jason Bisnoff has the story.
Very posturing on his right hip. If you're Barry, you want to pop back to the feet and test the chin of Cortez Coleman, see if he's recovered.
Mixed martial arts was originally banned in 1997 because the New York state government thought it was barbaric. Since then, regulation within MMA has led many to believe the decision should be overturned. Anthony Pippola is an MMA practitioner with that exact sentiment.
I boxed, submission wrestling, did some Muay Thai, and now for the last 3 years I've been training Sambo here at New York Combat Sambo.
Queens native Anthony Pippola has trained in many MMA disciplines and has competed in amateur bouts since New York State deemed them legal.
It's basically the only place I feel like I belong and I should be. Like, everywhere else feels secondary compared to getting on the mat, getting in a cage, getting in a ring, and, you know, it feels like that's when I'm really alive. That's when my life begins, you know.
The 32-year-old spends his free time at the gym when he is not working as an emergency response mechanic for National Grid.
You know, I got more injuries training. I got more injuries at work than I ever did doing MMA. I got more injuries jackhammering and digging and, you know, working out in the field than I ever did any fight, any grappling competition, or, you know, any.
Stephen Kopfer runs New York Combat Sambo, training fighters in the only state that still does not allow professional MMA.
As I started training fighters and my gym started becoming more established, it became much more of a reality to me, the effect of the ban on fighters and how it affects them more.
Kopfer and other prominent MMA figures founded the Coalition to Legalize MMA in New York, or NYMMA now, in 2010. They host rallies and have even made documentaries about the ban.
We've really focused more on education, trying to educate New York constituents about the fact that there is a ban here, which many New Yorkers don't even know.
Liz Kruger is a member of the New York State Senate representing District 28 on the east side of Manhattan. She is strongly opposed to the legalization of professional MMA.
It's proving to be an incredibly dangerous sport where medical research is showing that fighters in the sport stand an incredibly high chance of suffering brain damage.
Kruger is not only opposed to professional MMA, but would also like to ban the amateur bouts that are currently legal in the state.
I believe as government we have an obligation to try to protect people from harm, even if they voluntarily want to participate in this sport.
Though violence is the main argument cited against MMA, there is a growing belief that there is more to the opposition's strong feelings than that. UFC, the largest brand in MMA, is at the center of this issue. As Albany bureau chief of the New York Daily News, Kenneth Lovett has written extensively about the fight over MMA legalization.
There's also talk that there's a union issue in the assembly that has nothing to do with New York, but the owners of UFC, Ultimate Fighting Championship, have a union problem with a hotel in Las Vegas, with the culinary union.
Despite efforts from state legislators to eliminate mixed martial arts influence in New York, the UFC has already made efforts to make their presence felt here in the Big Apple. Behind me is one of UFC's official fitness gyms open to the public. This gym in downtown Manhattan is UFC's first location on the East Coast. With another location open in New Hyde Park, make no mistake, extending the brand to New York is a top priority for the UFC.
Last year, 2013, since New York State admitted that amateur was legal, there were 45 amateur MMA shows in New York State in 1 year. The community is primed for an explosion if they were to allow pro in here.
As the years go on, there's an inevitability that it will happen. The only question is when.
I mean, I'm glad at least amateur MMA is legal here now. It used to suck driving to Jersey, driving to Philly, driving to Buffalo, trying to get a fight. Now, at least now it's a little local. But when I turn pro, I mean, I would love to fight my home state, especially in my city.
Jason Bisnoff, Manhattan.